Everyone, so I did a presentation on a research article today that discussed victim recantation. And I'll put a link in the comment section down below if you wanted to find the research article for yourself, what it talks about. So what is victim recantation? So when there has been an incident of domestic violence and the police have come and a victim gives their story about what occurred during the incident. And then the perpetrator is taken to jail. They are arrested and they are taken to jail. And this was a very violent crime, like assault, kidnapping, strangulation, a felony level crime. And what happens as the perpetrator is in jail, they begin stages, right? So stages of convincing the victim to recant their story. And it's through coercion and manipulation and through connecting with the victim again and gaslighting. We'll just call it, in the research article they do not call it gaslighting, but that is what they're doing. They're trying to manipulate the incident, manipulate their version and perception of what happened for the victim. That didn't actually happen. You made me do this. It's a form of gaslighting. So this will occur. The perpetrator will tell the victim, these things didn't happen this way. You don't know how bad they're treating me here. This isn't a good place for me. We need to work together as a team. If I can get out of here, we'll work together. We'll communicate more effectively. God would want us to be together. And the perpetrator will work hard to convince the victim that this will be better for them, that it's so hard for the perpetrator in jail, that they're suffering and they shouldn't want them to suffer, and can't they work together as a team? The police were against them. Now them as a couple, right? They're trying to reunite this narrative, and the prosecutor is just out to harm them as a couple, and they're just working against them and their family, and before they know it, now the perpetrator is asking the victim to recant the story, recant the statement that they gave to the police when the offense occurred. And then now the perpetrator is telling the victim that they are going to be united and work together against the court system to get the perpetrator out of charges. And this might include the victim recanting their story and being charged then themselves with making a false statement. And now the victim might have to spend time in jail. But the perpetrator is, of course, comfortable with that because they don't want consequences for their actions. So, as you can see, it's this whole cycle of the perpetrator getting out of consequences. But what does that mean then? Unfortunately, the perpetrator, because they are so manipulative, once they're able to get the victim to do this and they're able to get out of jail and back home. Now, the research study doesn't say this. Now, I'm taking this a step further as a domestic violence advocate. And what I see then is the perpetrator will then say, none of it happened. See, I wasn't charged. I wasn't convicted of all of this. They made it all up. And now see, the victim is the one who's in trouble. See, they lied. They are the liar. They made it all up. See how now I am the victim. The perpetrator then themselves is able to become the victim when they had actually done a felony level offense. They come out the victim, and now the victim, that real victim, is now in jail or facing charges, having to hire a lawyer because now they have recanted the story that they have given the police. So now, do you believe that the perpetrator follows through on their promises that they made while they were in jail? Of, we'll go to counseling, we'll work together, we're going to be a team. I promise all of these things are going to happen. That really, you made me angry and I'm sorry I didn't control my anger and I'll do better and we'll be a fam. They don't follow through with that. So now, unfortunately, now the victim is out on their own, being blamed for the whole situation and taking on potential legal issues for now recanting their story that they bought and believed while the perpetrator was in jail and manipulating them. So, and this happens in 80% of cases. That is cited in this as support for why they did this study. They did this study in jail, in King County Jail. They did this study of couples. They were listening to their phone calls, and they cited this as evidence as to why they needed to do this study. Is that 80% of cases that there is that there 80% of domestic violence cases, there is recantation. So 80% of when people are charged with domestic violence, 80% recant before it even gets to court. So unfortunately, if you know someone who is dealing with domestic violence and trying to get someone charged, or following through with advice that you may be giving them of, well, have them charged, call the police. Unfortunately, they are so manipulated by the time they even get to the court process to recant that now the perpetrator is able to say, I didn't do anything wrong. They recanted. See, they're the liar. And now the perpetrator is looking like the victim. So any advocates out there watching this, therapists watching this, please remember that just because they didn't follow through with getting charged or having consequences, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And for victims watching this, please be aware that this is a pattern. They've studied this. They know this is a pattern. They know that the perpetrators know how to do this. They know how to manipulate you into recanting, and unfortunately in many cases taking on charges yourself. So please reach out, get support through the process, someone who knows that this will likely happen, and have people there to help you to stand firm and knowing that, first of all, it did happen. You're not crazy. When they try to get you to follow through with recanting, that might not be the safest thing for you, or the thing that's in your best interest. That this selfish person has been able to convince you many times to look out for their best interest. But now for your own safety and your children's own safety, it might finally be time to look out for your best interest, and to not have contact with them while they are in jail, when they're having these emotional pleas out to you, when they are desperate for anything to change, but you desperately need things to change and to take care of yourself. All right, everyone. Have a great day.